sake, they hope it's a weekend that brings them a big win. It's probably about time, Brendan, they get one.
Yeah, to get a win that isn't against the Giants, I think that one hardly counts. I mean, it counts in the standings, but it doesn't make you feel something. I'm ready to feel something about that Chiefs team.
How do you feel about this Chiefs team heading into it? We'll talk about the injuries that could affect it or the injury designations that look a little bit better for the Chiefs today. We'll get to that. We'll get to our predictions for that game, our predictions also for Mizzou, UMass. How's it going to go? Who's going to win? Oh, boy.
Still crunching the numbers.
Are you really?
Yeah, trying to figure out if I can get the Tigers.
44.5 is a number you want to try and fight on.
It's a big number, but I mean, we've seen it happen before, so.
I mean, it was 45-3 in Massachusetts last year, so maybe it's something you consider. I don't know. We'll get to that at 5:05. We'll have Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com joining us at 4:25, and our picks of the week at 5:45 here. Lots to get to. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. You can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show. Find us on Facebook, too, at facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
No injury designation for Xavier Worthy, as it looks like he's ready to go. Andy Reid said that he is good to go for returning to the Chiefs this weekend as they take on the Ravens. Suffered that shoulder injury against the Chargers, missed the last couple of games, but it seems now that he is ready to go, as is rookie wide receiver Jalen Royals, who has yet to play for the Chiefs this season and make his NFL debut. We'll see if that ends up being the case on Sunday. Some other notable ones to look at. Mike Dana had a full practice Thursday, but a limited one today. He's listed as doubtful for the game, the Chiefs defensive end. Meanwhile, cornerback Christian Fulton questionable, as is rookie defensive end Ashton Gelati for the Chiefs. 3:25 kickoff on Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium as the Chiefs and Ravens both come in at 1 and 2. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 26th day of September 2025. Call or text us here at 875-KTGR if you want to chime in on the weekend of football that's raring to go very soon. James said he took Mizzou minus 27.5 in the first half. For that, maybe we'll get to whether that's a big number, but is pretty big for first half. But we'll get to our thoughts on that at 5:05. Meanwhile, though, look, Xavier Worthy's playing. Like that's official now, really.
Yeah.
He's going to be ready to go. The question is, how impactful will he be? We'll get Rob Veno's thoughts on that at 4:25. But generally speaking, I would like to think that the Chiefs at least get closer to the offense they want to have, even with just Xavier Worthy's presence. I don't know how many catches he needs to have a full impact in this game. At the very least, it's something that the Ravens defensive coordinator needs to think about. And so I do think it allows more flexibility for the Chiefs, maybe a better opportunity for their other receivers to get open. I don't know how much Xavier Worthy's going to actually do, but his body being out there and running routes and everything like that will still be something that the Ravens react to, and the Chiefs just have to take advantage of the openings they get from that.
Yeah, and I mean, all due respect to Tyquan Thornton, who actually did show some explosiveness in the last game and kind of developing that connection with Mahomes down the field. I think Worthy, if he's right, if he's able to be 90% of what he normally is, brings an element to the Chiefs offense that they don't really have at this point. Like Hollywood Brown isn't that guy. Travis Kelce is not that guy in the way that he used to be. And I don't think you have it at all in the running game. I don't think either running back that they use predominantly carries that explosive factor. Worthy can take the top off, and you're hoping that this version of him with a torn labrum and wearing a brace and whatever it may look like can still do that.
And look, it's more than just that. Like, still the Chiefs offense has not looked like the Chiefs.
No.
The Xavier Worthy injury, I'm sure, makes a difference. The Chargers game you can excuse because you weren't expecting to have Xavier Worthy be out for the whole game, but you had time then to figure out what it can look like against the Eagles and what it can look like against the Giants. And it looks like it took 3 halves of football for them to really figure it out. And so maybe now they have, I don't know, but you need a whole lot of compliments to what this Chiefs offense is supposed to be. So you need Isaiah Pacheco to do better. Like you need the offensive line, frankly, to do better in those spots. Like we talk a lot about Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt not getting their yards, and like that's true. But how much is that due to the fact that maybe the offensive line still hasn't put together a game that you need out of them? And look, they haven't done a great job of protecting Mahomes either. So I feel like there needs to be some more criticism on that part of it too. When you assign 2 of those guys to really big contracts and you've got a rookie that you hope pans out, and then you've got a right tackle that, look, now's the time, right? You paid Jalen Moore in the offseason $30 million over 2 years to see if he can help you. Well, I think he can. Jawan Taylor's not right now. Like, he just isn't. Like, I think this was a week where you could find out about Jalen Moore's readiness for this level against a Ravens defense that has at least Matabike's out for them. And there are some other guys questionable on that defensive line on their injury report is going to make an impact also. And even on top of that, they're just not good right now. So I felt like this could have been a good week to put Jalen Moore in at right tackle, see what he's got. I don't know what the case is there. Like, does Jawan Taylor need to play because of his contract or things like, I don't know. It just seemed like a good week to do that.
Yeah, and I'm reading through some of what has been said. Offensive line coach Andy Heck saying this week, if you make a mistake, make it once. Like, they don't want to continue to see. But it's so crazy that this continues to be a thing. It's been a thing. Like, this isn't like the season began and we're starting to talk about, man, Jawan Taylor, he's lined up in the wrong spot. This is old news, and he's
gotten a lot of onces.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like that kind of implies what you're saying is, hey, you've got other guys you could try out if it really gets to be, it's at a point where it's just untenable. Maybe he makes a mistake and say, hey, that's your one. You make it again. I could see a lineup change. I wouldn't be surprised by it. It feels like they are teetering on the edge with this player and his bizarre, and a bit like the referees are talking to him before the game about certain situations and what they're looking for. They're trying to let him know, like, we're on to you. I just don't understand how it's still a thing for this kid.
Well, it was the Ravens game last year, first game of the season.
Yeah.
Where they started to key in on that. Like Jawan Taylor jumping early and trying to get into his set as quickly as possible. And the referees honed in on that. They also kind of cracked down on the Ravens side of it too. But this just seems like a chance here. Like, if Jawan Taylor has another bad game, like if he has another game where he has a holding penalty where you don't expect it and another false start, like, I'm done after that. Like, I'm ready to see Jalen Moore. Like, he can play both tackles. You brought him in to play a tackle spot. Presumably it was going to be left tackle, but you had no idea that Josh Simmons was going to fall all the way to you. So you take him, and he's been the guy, and he's actually looked pretty solid over there. So now that you have Jalen Moore in the room and you committed all that money to him, I think he needs to be more of a part of your future, because Jawan Taylor after this year, like, you're saying goodbye. Like, put Jalen Moore out there and see what you can get.
Is Jawan Taylor the Miles Michaelis of the Chiefs offensive line?
Gosh.
Many are asking. Many are wondering if it's.
You can expect this at least one of these every single game.
Is one of these
Miles 2 home runs,
absolute bomb at Wrigley Field?
Yes, I think multiple.
Yeah,
if we're talking about that. Yeah, what's the 11-1?
I think I finished 12-1 if I'm not mistaken. Okay. That's the connection, though. I think that's the connection that just dawned on me. That Miles Michaelis and Jawan Taylor are birds of a feather when it comes to it. Yeah, we're not really going to replace him. We know what he does. Those home runs, they're frustrating. Those penalties on Jawan Taylor, they're frustrating. But man, what are you going to do?
I know.
It's kind of a similar attitude, but in the case of the Chiefs, I really do think you have an option, right? They like Jalen. They could find a way to put him in, and we'll see.
It's a conundrum, I think, still, but it seems pretty easy from where I stand. on this. Jalen Moore showed a little bit about what he could do. You at least need to find a spot for him because you can't sign him to that contract with the potential that he has and not use him anywhere. So we'll see whether that's the case. It's not going to happen this game, but tell us who you got. Call or text us with 875-KTGR is the number to call or text us at. You can also find us on YouTube at KTGR Sports, where you can see us right now. And again, this is one of the places where you can see us here and the KTGR app. If you don't want to listen to Miles Michaelis give up another home run to the Cubs today,
I think they're off the hook now. The game's finally mercifully come to an end.
Well, the season very soon will also be that.
We're close. The Cardinals, by the way, they're like, yeah, we were going to tell Brendan Donovan to tough through it until we were mathematically eliminated, but he's probably about done for the year. We're going to shut Liberatore down. It's going to be a bullpen game on Sunday. Yeah, we're going to play with like 19 guys. It doesn't matter. It's over. I mean, that's kind of taken over for the Cardinals, but it still matters, darn it, for the Chiefs. You don't want to go 1-3.
No, man.
You don't want to drop to that number.
No.
I was surprised when we talked about this the other day that the Ravens' odds to make the playoffs at unnamedsportsbook.com are still like minus 1,200. Only the Bills, I think, had higher likelihood, if according to the odds, to make the playoffs. The Chiefs were like minus 225, which suggests a loss to the Ravens could drop them, I don't know, minus 150. Like, it gets closer to even odds for the Chiefs. At least the bookmakers seem to believe this is a more important game for the Chiefs than it is for the Ravens when you look long-term at likelihood of making the postseason or achieving their goals, because I think the Chiefs have a harder schedule. They haven't played the Lions or the Bills yet, and the Ravens have already taken their punishment against those two very good offenses.
Tough for Division II.
Definitely.
It's not going to be easier.
Chargers are real.
Chiefs.
The Broncos are average.
I don't think they're real, but
I'm not going to say real, but they're average, and the Raiders are average.
Right.
I mean, the Raiders aren't a terrible team this year.
Like, Browns are bad, and the Bengals are bad. So I mean,
Bengals might be really bad.
Yeah.
And the Steelers are average.
Right, exactly.
They're like doing okay on offense with the whole quarterback change situation to your guy, but their defense is pretty mid, I think.
Oh, the guy's going under the bus again today. By
Again?
The way. Yeah, he is.
Boy.
Did you see what he was saying about the travel schedule over to Dublin?
I missed it, and I'm going to wait. Now I'm not even going to look it up. I'm going to let you tell me at about 4:50.
It's almost exactly what you would expect it to be out of a guy like him. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text.
He's always got something to say. He's always got something to say.
What do you know? Guy like Aaron Rodgers likes attention. Call or text us with who you got, Chiefs and Ravens, 875-KTGR. What's more likely? Patrick Mahomes throws multiple touchdowns or multiple interceptions?
Multiple touchdowns against this Ravens defense, especially if Worthy is even a complimentary piece to this situation. And look, I guess I can't speak specifically to the red zone numbers. I'd have to look those up. But I know offhand, this is the 31st ranked secondary in terms of passing yards allowed per game in the NFL. Only the Dallas Cowboys are worse, who, they traded away their best pass rusher, one of the most impactful defensive players in the league. And lo and behold, they're struggling on defense. Who could have thunk it?
Yeah.
Not us, and certainly not Jerry Jones. But Baltimore giving up 266 per game. Granted, two of those games, like, it's so difficult. You feel like in week 4 now, you can kind of go, all right, we got an idea. These teams have played 3 games. We can start to look at the stats. We don't have to keep talking about last year's numbers or, just kind of how we feel about it. We got numbers. We got stats. But when you play the Bills and the Lions as 2 of your 3 games, that almost feels unfair.
Yeah.
So the Ravens defense is not as bad as it looks on paper. But if you give a tick up to the Chiefs offense by adding Worthy, you can know that Mahomes has been able to, you've been able to move the ball a little bit. Tyquan Thornton's emergence, I think, helps you. I don't remember offhand how many touchdowns he threw last week. Was it 1 or 2? He just had the 1 against the Giants. But I think this is going to be a better version of the offense with Worthy and probably the worst defense they've faced. I mean, the Giants aren't a good team, but their defense is okay.
Yeah, they got pass rushers.
Pass rush,
they have pass rushers.
100%.
Yeah.
So I would say that when you factor in at home and the Ravens struggling on defense Mahomes will throw 2 passing touchdowns, more likely than will throw 2 interceptions. I just don't really know right now. And maybe the Ravens, and in their defensive meetings this week, they looked at some tape and they showed Roquan Smith just looking completely disinterested in playing football last weekend.
Yeah.
Like some of the guys on that Ravens defense, you've got, what is it? Is it Marlon Humphrey that goes on his own podcast the next day? And he's like, I don't know how it happened. I'm at a loss for words. And then he just
what do you know?
Talks about whatever else. And Ravens fans are like, stop the damn podcast and play some defense.
Yeah.
People are upset. I think Mahomes is going to throw for a couple of touchdowns in this game. Yeah.
Maybe what's more likely? Patrick Mahomes runs for a couple of touchdowns or throws a couple of interceptions.
No, I just what makes you worried about the interception factor? I just don't. I don't think he's going to put the ball in harm's way too much.
I would hope not, but it seems like again one of those contests where maybe you get a bunch of possessions in general because both. I mean, the Ravens' offense can certainly move the ball. This is an interesting test for the Chiefs' defense now. All of a sudden. And you're looking at maybe shortened possessions, so each team gets more of them, and then maybe that means that Mahomes has to race against the clock in a certain ability here, and he forces something. So that's the type of game that I could potentially see. I think over is the right play here for that matter. But
48.5 is the game total.
Yeah, it's still a number that I think is able to go above that. When like 28-21 gets you there. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's either way.
Still a pretty high number by NFL standards this year. Colts Rams this week is higher at 49.5, but that is the only game with a higher total. Which, I mean, it's Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. It should be a pretty lofty total, but something tells me, man, these Chiefs games just get ugly sometimes when it's playoff caliber opposition. I don't know how I feel about that over and under yet.
Well, I feel like there will be plenty of chances for the Ravens to move the ball. And look, if they get enough chances in the red zone, then I see them finishing a lot better potentially than the Chiefs can. Now, doesn't mean the Chiefs won't win the game, but to me, it's a game of who can punch it in the end zone more often and convert on their red zone chances. Bottom line, Chiefs, this is the best offense they have faced this year. I think even better than the Chargers.
Yes.
And so this will feel like a race to 30 to me, honestly.
That Chargers offense, I think, is going to be considered even more explosive the next time the Chiefs face them. I've thrown this out there. Do the Chargers have the best trio of wide receivers right now in the NFL? Between Ladd McConkey, I still think might be their best, but Keenan Allen is playing at a very high level, and Quentin Johnston, I think, is now a legitimate threat. There's no duo among that trio that I think is particularly imposing, but when you just realize the depth of that room,
I think the what you're maybe trying to say is that the Chargers have the best wide receiver 3 in the NFL.
The best trio,
right?
The best third wide receiver for sure.
Because I would argue that no matter who the Eagles' third wide receiver is, the punch of AJ Brown and Devontae Smith or T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, it doesn't matter who the Bengals' third wide receiver.
Get those guys the football. Yeah. That's a problem right now too. They have the combination of the quarterback that can distribute it to all three, and Omarion Hampton with the breakout game after Najee Harris's season-ending injury. Now I think they're going to have to trust the rookie running back who is talented and was highly drafted. And did you see this Gadsden kid from the Chargers that caught 5 balls? The Chiefs didn't really see much of him, if at all, in week 1, but he's going to be a factor moving forward. They've got a very balanced offense, but I do think the Ravens more explosive because I think the quarterback, I'll still take Lamar over Justin Herbert at this point. Zay Flowers is a weapon. Derrick Henry is still just the moment you're ready to sleep on him is the moment that he's going to show you that you should not have done that. So this is definitely going to be a challenge. I would argue, though, that the Chiefs benefit if the game goes under the total. Like if the Chiefs defense limits Lamar Jackson and it's kind of one of those nip-tuck games in the lower 20s, I trust the Chiefs to make the last winning play. But if they can't bottle up that Ravens offense and you start getting into a shootout, Mahomes can play in a shootout, but is he at an advantage in a shootout in 2025 before Rashee Rice gets back and before we know what Worthy's going to look like?
I would like to think that he still is, because the Ravens have been in shootouts like that before.
That's
and
true.
they didn't close the job. Their defense has been porous in closing out those games.
Yeah.
So Mahomes will still be in it. That's why I'm thinking the rushing total for Mahomes would be a nice one to maybe look at. I think he gets in the end zone at some point in this game. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Give us your score predictions for Chiefs, Ravens. What's yours?
I'm really at first I thought 27-23 sounded good, but then I thought, do I really think the Chiefs are going to win this game? I think as the resident, I don't know, I'm kind of the Chiefs hater this year. I'm the Chiefs skeptic, at least. I think I have to go ahead and say the Ravens need this game more. If the Chiefs are well-oiled offensively, this ages very poorly, and they'll win it like 30-20. But I'm going to say it's 27-20 Ravens. 27-23. I'm going to keep that score, but I changed my mind.
Still over.
I changed my mind.
He wants to
go over.
But
The Ravens are going to win this game by 4 points. I think it's about a 4-point spread.
Chiefs are getting 2.5.
2.5. So that's down a bit. Yeah. You always say if the Chiefs are getting points at home, you just laugh.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I'm going to say, look, I was right the Eagles week. I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs every week, but I'm going to take the Ravens this time, 27-23.
The Chiefs will win this game 31-27.
Be a very fun game. I mean, that's a fun script. Can the Chiefs score 30 points? Hasn't happened a lot.
I think they can.
Wasn't last year the year where they didn't have too many of those high-scoring games, and we were like, it's been a while since they scored 30 points. I'm looking back.
They scored 30 points and went over 400 yards of offense. Yeah, that's been a while since they did that.
November 24th, they beat the Panthers 30-27 in another game that was nip-tuck. Overtime win over the Bucks. They got there in overtime to 30 last year. I'm looking at the regular season. I think those are the only two games last year that the Chiefs scored 30 points other than playoffs. Did it against the Bills.
We'll see, man. I look at some of the Ravens injuries. Again, Matabike out, Broderick Washington out, Kyle Van Noy questionable.
Defense is a problem.
We'll see what that looks like. But again, give us your score predictions for Chiefs and Ravens. We'll do the same for Mizzou and UMass coming up at 5:05. Call or text us here at 875-KTGR. Comment on our YouTube channel at KTGR Sports. We'll get the Vegas angle of this game as well from Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com, as he also weighs in on a big college football weekend too. He joins us next on The Big Show.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Go, go, go! Sir, the bugs have taken over the entire neighborhood. They took out the Thompsons, the Joneses, and the Smiths. I don't know how much longer we can hold on. Calm down, soldier. Reinforcements are on the way. Holy protector of pest control.
Steve's Pest Control is currently en route.
As the season changes, you may notice spiders, wasps, and mice trying to enter your home. But don't worry, the pros of Steve's Pest Control are ready for battle. Before the fall invasion attacks your property, calmly, quietly, pick up your phone and call us at Steve's Pest Control. We've been protecting businesses, homes, and neighborhoods all over Central Missouri for years, and we can protect yours too. I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We will eliminate your pest problem and stop the fall pest invasion. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
You know that old driver in the corner of your garage? The one half jammed into an old golf bag that's now serving as a spider hotel? Yeah, somebody wants that driver, you know. Play It Again Sports. They'll pay you for the gear you're not using. Golf equipment, fitness gear, baseball, softball, and more. Bring it in and cash out, or upgrade to something you need for the upcoming season. Play It Again Sports wants your used equipment. They need it. So don't sit on it, swing on it. Play It Again Sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
It's been 15 years now since we started True Sun Exteriors, and the difference between now and 15 years ago is astounding to me. What we've been able to do is try to service a higher demand over the years, but we've also been very careful throughout the years to kind of restrain and not get too far out in front of ourselves so that we are continuing to keep the same sort of quality and customer satisfaction that we had from day one. I like to think that we have taken very good care of these good people, and that's part of the reason why we continue to get good people. And in turn, we've taken that great group of people. Now we can service our community too. And we're always getting feedback that our employees are doing little extra things for people on job sites that are more of a favor to the homeowner. It's been a heck of a ride, and we have grown tremendously. And we haven't always done everything the perfect way the first time, but one thing we do is we will bounce back and we will learn and we will get better every time. The last 15 years at True Sun has been truly incredible.
15 years ago, I wasn't even born yet.
True Sun Exteriors. TrueSunExteriors.com.
1851 Underground is one of those cool joints the family would enjoy going even if the food wasn't good. But it is good, really good. Famous burgers like the 1851, topped with pulled pork and hickory bacon, or the fire and ice chicken sandwich with Cholula honey and pepper jack cheese. The Baja fish tacos with crispy fried cod and avocado cream sauce is another favorite. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground in the historic Brick District in Fulton. Find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app, getting you set for a big football weekend here on KTGR. Of course, Chiefs-Ravens highlighting things on the NFL schedule, and both teams desperately need it. We'll see who can come out on top on Sunday. And here to talk all things football from the Vegas perspective, Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com. You can find him on Twitter at Rob Veno Sports and go to WagerTalk.com to see all their great stuff. Robbie, let's start with Chiefs and Ravens, as these two teams come in desperately needing a victory after the way their season has gone so far. Kansas City again getting the 2.5 points at home, kind of like they did against the Eagles. Now, of course, they fell short in that game, but is this one a little bit different? Do you see it how the Chiefs maybe see it as probably their last chance to really get a signature win before they get further and further into the season?
Yeah, I think that the side play in this game was a little more difficult than the total in this one, Andy, because I think until any further notice, you just play these Baltimore Raven games over the total when there's a competent offense on the other side. We've seen Buffalo get to 41. We saw Detroit steamroll them last week and get to 38. And we see that the Ravens have no trouble scoring on anybody. Xavier Worthy back this weekend, coupled with Hollywood Brown, gives KC a couple of vertical threats here. So I think they could be a little more dangerous offensively. But I think the easiest way for me, at least, from the handicapping perspective to look at this game was Baltimore is just not the same defense. And I know they're banged up a little bit on that side of the football, you know, without your top DT, without your one of your best linebackers and pass rushers, Kyle Van Noy. All that aside, they just haven't stopped anybody this year. So 48.5 looked too low to me for a game that should find its way into the 50s. And I think the reason why we even get a chance to bet this game at 48.5 right now over the total is because Kansas City hasn't shown anybody that they can score this season. And the common narrative across the country nationally is, Kansas City's offense just doesn't have any potency anymore. I don't think that'll be true on Sunday.
With Xavier Worthy coming back, there's all kinds of questions as to how effective he might be. He's clearly having to play through that shoulder injury and having to deal with the pain however he can. So that brings up the question of, like, okay, will he be back to the type of player that he was towards the end of last season? What's the reasonable expectation for him, especially in maybe some of his betting markets, as people want to be excited about him coming back, but maybe have to temper expectations a little bit?
Yeah, player prop wise, and because I don't get involved in those much, I think is probably a little bit different thinking than mine is, if nothing else, his presence forces the defense to respect his presence on the field, right? You have to have somebody looking at him at all times. If he's not 100%, really doesn't matter on the field. Controlling a little bit of Baltimore's defense opens things up for other guys. And if he is capable of, let's say, 80% capable and can get deep and catch the football on somebody, I'm sure, his legs are still going to work. So the speed is still going to be there. Casey will probably keep him out of danger. And by danger, I mean, he won't be throwing many blocks with that shoulder, et cetera, et cetera. So I think having him back on the field causes issues for a Baltimore defense that already has issues.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com with us on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Very fascinating game between the Eagles and Bucks as well in Tampa this weekend. Both teams undefeated. It's in the noon window, and both teams have really done it in somewhat ugly fashion. Some of their wins, they haven't been all that convincing, but they just find a way, and now they're facing off against each other. So with how similar they have looked into this one, how do you see them matching up?
I would love to have played against the Eagles in this game off of that win last week, now traveling to another NFL playoff team to play Tampa Bay. But what holds you back here is obviously the injury status of Mike Evans won't play. The injury status of Chris Godwin, maybe he'll return this week and play, which would absorb some of the loss of Evans. Tristan Wirfs, their best offensive tackle, protects the blind side. Maybe he'll come back and play this week. A lot of maybes on that Tampa Bay injury report where key players are concerned, and it makes it tough to just dive in with Tampa here, even though at more than a field goal, it really looks like situationally the right side. As you mentioned, Andy, they've scraped by against some inferior competition, I think they've won all three of their games by 1, 2, and 3 points. So it hasn't been pretty. They found a way to get it done. The Eagles' defense is so susceptible in the secondary, and Baker Mayfield can shred people through the air. You just wish that he'd have at least a couple of threats on the field to throw the football to. If Godwin plays, you'd probably start to lean towards Tampa. If Tristan Wirfs plays, I think you do play Tampa plus the 3.5. But until I see the final injury report, it's a little difficult.
We'll see as that one goes at noon on Sunday. And then in the late afternoon window, along with Chiefs-Ravens, really fascinating game between the Colts and the Rams. Rams probably feel like they should be 3-0. Colts actually are, to the surprise of, I'm sure, quite a few. As those two teams match up this weekend, how do you see them faring, especially with how the Colts with Daniel Jones have been a little surprising this year, still not getting the respect on the road against the Rams, but do you see any value on that?
Yeah, this is interesting because, first of all, from a New York Giants perspective, you now see that they spent their first-round picks very wisely. Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. What they didn't do is provide those two guys with offensive lines. They went to different teams with offensive lines. You see Barkley flourish. You see Daniel Jones now protected, doing great things offensively. Biggest question in this game and best matchup is the Colts offensive line against the Rams defensive line, Jared Verse and company, because they pressure you relentlessly. And Daniel Jones hasn't been under any heat so far this year. I think if I remember right, they didn't punt the first two games. His jersey was clean. So can the Colts offensive line hold up? Can they open up these holes they've been opening up for Jonathan Taylor? Can they protect the way they've been protecting against this particular team, which is angry off of that loss to Philadelphia? I'm not sure. It's the first true test of the Colts, but I think that particular matchup dictates who wins this or who covers this game, and probably dictates what we get for a total too. I have not come to a decision on this game, so I haven't bet it, but I can see arguments for both sides here.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com with us on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Should Cowboys fans just be ready for all kinds of bashing in by the Packers and their former best player, Micah Parsons, returning to Dallas this weekend?
Yes, they probably should.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make the case that they won't, right? We saw what went on 2 weeks ago against Russell Wilson, who subsequently benched after throwing for 400 against this defense. Then we see last week, the Bears all of a sudden look like a great offense against this defense. And, you know, Dallas still moved the football, but Dak, I think, and then Joe Milton was the next quarterback in. They throw 3 interceptions in the end zone. So just tough for Dallas unless they can outscore you. Their defense, if you're looking at this game, you may want to just isolate Green Bay team total and play it over, especially off of what happened to them last week. You talk about a severe step down in class defensively. You just faced Myles Garrett in that Cleveland defense, especially the defensive front, and now you're going to get Dallas, which is pretty easy to navigate. So I think if you're going to look at that game, you want to look at Green Bay's team total over the number.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Over to college, Mizzou has a soft game this weekend. UMass coming in. The spread's 44.5. If you want to go and play it in your jurisdiction of legality, that's fine. But, I mean, they won by 42 last year at UMass. That's not really the question. There are more compelling games this weekend, so we wanted to go to some of the SEC matchups, especially Alabama-Georgia, with Georgia just barely a favorite against the Tide at home. Look, Alabama has looked better since that loss to Florida State. Do you see all of that's coming into Athens an advantage for them, or does Georgia, just because they're so good at home and they haven't lost at home in several years now, that you just assume that they're going to get it done?
Yeah, great conflicting arguments, Andy, and especially since Georgia has now slid under the price of a field goal. They're now only a 2.5-point favorite. Lots of Alabama money pushing that to the under. I think I'm somebody in my process that probably justifies that opening week loss to Florida State. In my mind, well, it was Ty Simpson's first game as a starting quarterback. Well, Ryan Williams got knocked out with a concussion in the fourth. Well, it was Ryan Grubb's first game as offensive coordinator back with his old boss, Kalen DeBoer. A lot of justification in my part, in my handicap, going on for why Alabama didn't win that game against Florida State. And then, of course, you can just say Thomas Castellanos predicted it and then fulfilled the prediction by winning by 2 touchdowns. But since then, as you mentioned, the offense has been really good. Williams is back to full health now. He's a dangerous wide receiver. And I think Jam Miller is back at running back for Alabama as well. So they've got their weaponry. And I'll say this, the one thing that's given Alabama's defense trouble in recent history has been dual threat quarterbacks, which Gunnar Stockton really is not. When they can have a guy that's kind of stationary in the pocket that they can tee off on, they're usually pretty good. So I lean Alabama in this game. I think I'm on the side of the money here that's come in on Alabama. I think they might be able to go to Georgia and get it done. Kirby Smart's the better coach. No question, he'll be ready. But I don't know that I have full faith in Georgia right now.
Now, LSU Ole Miss, the other marquee SEC matchup this weekend, with Ole Miss making the decision to go to Chambliss at quarterback now going forward. How much more value does that put on Ole Miss, or if any at all?
Boy, and he's earned it, right? I mean, Austin Simmons kind of gets Wally pipped here by Chambliss, who has come on and played tremendously as a dual threat quarterback. And I think Lane Kiffin's smart to just ride the hot hand at this point in time. I like Ole Miss in this game. They're only laying 1.5. They're at home in Oxford, but I think it's just as much of a fade of LSU for me as it is faith in Ole Miss. So I do have a faith in to score on just about anybody in the country, probably anybody in the country. But when I look back at this LSU schedule, I start asking myself, 17-10 against Clemson, really? Does a top 5 team only beat Clemson 17-10? Lesser teams have beat them worse. Florida 20-10. To hold those 2 offenses to 10 points isn't all that impressive anymore that we've seen results from Clemson and Florida. This is by far the best offense they'll face. I mean, in between, they face Louisiana Tech and Southeastern Louisiana. It's not much on the LSU defensive resume. So maybe the hype they're receiving is a little overvalued, a little overpriced. They're going to face an offense that we know it's a Lane Kiffin offense that's explosive, that can score in bunches. So I don't know that LSU can keep up, to be honest with you, Andy, because they came in with a lot of hype surrounding that offense. But again, it hasn't been what we thought it would be. Just like the defense may be a little bit overrated, so too maybe the offense. So I like Ole Miss at less than a field goal here.
Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show KTGR. And then Fulcrum game in the Big Ten between Oregon and Penn State. It's the whiteout, of course, at Penn State, which brings its own level of challenge for anyone going in there. But it's still James Franklin in a big game. He doesn't win too many of these in his time there. How do you kind of see this one?
Yeah, this might be the 15th time this week I've answered a host who asked me this question this way, but I'm going to do it again because it's the only way I know how. I'll tell you that if you were to loan me the money to bet on Penn State, I still wouldn't do it. And you mentioned one of the reasons why James Franklin, it's impossible to bet on him until he wins one of these games. But aside from the coach, Drew Aller is still Drew Aller. I know that these draft reports have his stock really high, but you watch him and you just don't see it. And in fact, I think we've said it before during this segment in this season, Mizzou lucked out. They got Bo Pribula.
Yeah.
And the other side got Drew Aller. Solid defense for Penn State. Obviously, great running game, great running back tandem. But I'll say this because this goes under the radar too, Andy, is the fact that Oregon comes with a perception, right? A little soft, fast, flashy, but when you have to line up against a Big Ten team, you can't do it. You're not physical enough. But Dan Lanning, he learned at Georgia, and he's kind of built an SEC or he's built SEC trench play here, depth-wise across the offensive and defensive lines, physical-wise. They're a different team right now, and this is a whiteout. It's at night. It's in Happy Valley. But let's not forget they walked into Ohio State last year and won. Oregon did. So I don't know that the venue is going to be that much of a bother to them. I think you're getting more than a field goal here, 3.5. I think Oregon's the right side.
Robbie, what free pick do you like?
I'll go to Saturday real quick here, guys. Kansas State plays Central Florida, Big 12 football here. K-State's had a week off to kind of lick their wounds, but they do get their top running back, Dylan Edwards, back for this one. Total is set really low at 49. I played it over. Central Florida under Scott Frost has looked really good offensively. I think K-State gets back to it offensively. It's kind of a price tag thing. The number just seems to be way too low. Kansas State has exceeded this particular total, 49, in their games 78% of the time over the last 3 years. I played that one. It was one of the first plays I made this week. Kansas State, Central Florida, over 49.
Love it. Rob Veno, he's our man over at WagerTalk.com. Sports from a Vegas perspective. On Twitter at Rob Veno Sports, and go to WagerTalk.com to see all of their great stuff. Great to have him here on the Big Show KTGR. Thanks for coming on, Robbie. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk soon.
Always a pleasure, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Big Show is on at 444 KTGR in the KTGR app. Always good insights from Robbie, and yeah, he's not a believer in James Franklin in big games either.
It feels like Oregon's going to win that game, but I don't know, man. The whiteout is something.
Whiteout, man.
Whiteout is special.
That stadium at night is something else.
I still got to dig in. I assume that is on our picks of the week options,
yes.
And I got to dig in and see, what's kind of going on with that game before I really make a decision.
Well, we'll get to that at 5:45. In the meantime, under the bus, teased it earlier, Aaron Rodgers wants attention. So he said something that got him that about the travel over to Ireland. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hermes. The Missouri Tigers will welcome home alumni, family, and friends to Mizzou's homecoming football game against UMass tomorrow. This year marks the first homecoming game being played in the month of September since at least 2000, according to Callum McAndrews of the Columbia Tribune. Kickoff to the 114th edition of Mizzou's homecoming football game is at 6:30 right here on KTGR. The Kansas City Chiefs will look to get back to 500 on the year as they take on the Baltimore Ravens from Arrowhead Stadium this Sunday. Xavier Worthy is expected to play in the game, according to ESPN's Nate Taylor. Defensive end Michael Dana is listed as doubtful for Sunday's game, while cornerback Kristen Fulton is listed as questionable. Both the Chiefs and Ravens are looking to avoid 1-3 starts to the season. Kickoff from Kansas City is Sunday at 3:25. The Cardinals fell to the Cubs at Wrigley earlier today, 12-1, highlighted by a 7-run seventh inning by Chicago. Game 2 of that series is tomorrow. Michael McGreevy will get the start on the hill. First pitch from Chicago is at 1:20. And the Royals will conclude their season in Sacramento as they take on the Athletics in a 3-game stint this weekend. Game 1 of that series will be tonight. Noah Cameron will get the start on the mound. The first pitch for that one is at 9:05 tonight. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is next.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and it looks like it is going to be a great weekend for Mizzou's homecoming. Starting off tomorrow morning in the mid-50s, you might want a light jacket for the start of that parade. Once we get into the later morning and afternoon hours, temperatures quickly warming up into the mid-80s. And we'll be staying there. Looks like we'll be cooling back down into the low 80s and upper 70s by game time tomorrow. We're staying dry throughout all of this weekend. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. M-I-Z. Marching Mizzou. And of course,
to the house! To the house!
The traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. It's homecoming against the UMass Minutemen. Our coverage begins at 4:30 on your home for Mizzou football.
We are! Let's go get it done.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Fall projects don't have to be a nightmare. You can get your dream backyard oasis. It's about time you got that amazing pergola. Whatever fall projects you have in mind to improve your home and get the most out of your fun time, you can get them started at La Crosse Lumber. Grab all your material and tools at the best place to start your best fall. La Crosse Lumber, the oldest, most reliable lumber and hardware company in the Midwest. Since 1873. LaCrosseLumber.com.
You've already met a few members of the Family Pond family. Now it's time to meet the newest one. Family Pond's South Columbia location is just off South Providence. And just like every family pond, it's got a personality all its own. Different jewelry, different tools, different gadgets and gear. That's the beauty of the family. No two stores are exactly alike. So after you stop by your favorite, swing by South Columbia. It's your newest Family Pond store to explore.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pond.
Darling, may I have a refill on my coffee?
Sure thing, babe. You like this brew?
Delicious. What is it?
It's Cafe Caldi.
Caldi's coffee from St. Louis? I love stopping by their cafes.
Yeah, I saw on their website. Last year, they were voted the #1 Reader's Choice in USA Today. A local family-owned coffee company beat all the big chains. I can really taste the difference.
Discover what makes coffee roasted in Missouri different when you visit Caldi'sCoffee.com and enjoy their full selection of blends and unique coffees from around the world. Caldi's Coffee. Great coffee since 1994.
Hey y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. Tailgating's going to be hard this year. So if you need an easier tailgating plan, y'all, come on into Billiards. You don't have to pack anything. You can leave the cooking to us. We're climate controlled, and our burgers and fries are always a winner. Plus, our TVs are bigger than anything you're going to bring to a tailgate.
Look on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
Even downtown parking is easier than tailgate parking.
We're moving faster and faster these days with limited time to make an impact on potential customers. Hi, this is Jimmy at Pro Designs. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked with companies to build strong brands. At Pro Designs, our team can create a vehicle wrap to drive market share, growth, and profits. Connect with your customers on the go, on the road, and on the job site.
Visit us on the web at PRODEZIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
This is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants.
For some, the thought of wearing a hearing device makes them feel old. In reality, improved hearing helps prevent accelerated aging. Untreated hearing loss not only can decrease your lifespan, but it can also lead to a faster decline in cognitive abilities and increase the likelihood of dementia. Come see us at Hearing Aid Consultants for your free hearing evaluation today. Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab in Jefferson City. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
So we have the first not international game. There's been a game in Brazil. The Chiefs played in it, but the first European international game in the NFL is this weekend. It's Vikings and Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. And guess what? Aaron Rodgers has thoughts. He's complaining about the schedule. The Steelers got there in Ireland a little after 8 a.m. local time Friday.
Okay.
So they got in today, essentially. Aaron Rodgers voiced his displeasure about that. Quote, "It is what it is, but if the schedule had been a little different, if I could have chosen it, maybe we get over on Monday. Tuesday is the off day. Good to get out, see some things. It's a beautiful country, it seems like, from pictures. I have a family history going back to Ireland and Scotland, so I've always wanted to get over here. I'm a historian, so I know kind of the history geopolitically in the area. I'm a huge fan of Guinness. I don't really drink beer, but if I do, I drink Guinness. That's not a bold bleep line that I'm telling you guys. It's the truth. I've heard it taste different off the tap in Ireland than in the States. I've been in Northern Ireland, and it was great, but I'm excited about seeing what it tastes like.
All right.
Real quote.
Once he
was
went
not punking
into,
you.
once he dropped geopolitical,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was as good as it was going to get. And we somehow ended up on Guinness out of the tap versus otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm going to reserve any further comments, but that's hilarious.
Buddy,
That is hysterical.
First of all, you get a bye week after this, so just stay in Ireland. Just stay.
You have
You
enough
want to
money.
sightsee.
You can fly back and
Clearly,
pay for
you've
it.
taken vacations during team events before, so why not just
This
go
wouldn't be
again?
the first time.
Yeah.
You know what? He might say, I really am enjoying what I'm seeing of Ireland. I'm gonna bang the game. I'm not gonna be you guys will be fine without me.
Yeah, exactly.
I have this special tour of the Guinness facility, and they can only do
They can only go
Sunday
on, like,
morning.
yeah.
So I'm gonna sorry everybody.
I gotta go. I'm sorry. I really was looking forward to this game.
Under the bus.
What a loser.
That was a great quote.
What a loser. Also, interesting. I don't know if this is a feud, but it kind of sparked up this week. And Steve Wilkes, former Mizzou defensive coordinator, got a response to it here today. Baker Mayfield apparently had a post-game jab against him. He's now the Jets defensive coordinator. Bucks beat them 29-27 over this past weekend. And then Mayfield made light of the fact, said, quote, their D coordinator was the one that cut me in Carolina, end quote. Because Wilkes was in Carolina under Matt Rule, became the interim
head coach, yes.
So Baker claiming that it was Wilkes that jettisoned him. And, Wilkes had a response. First, he had a diplomatic response, but then he dove into this one. Quote, I don't know how long you've been doing this, Wilkes said to a reporter, but I'm sure you're quite educated on it. I don't really think an interim coach has that much authority over personnel. If that's the case, I would have never gotten rid of our best player, Christian McCaffrey, end quote.
Not Baker Mayfield.
Not Baker Mayfield. Christian McCaffrey, to be very specific, was our best player. That's
Wilkes,
very good.
Wilkes won me over, actually, with I agree with Baker. It was ridiculous. Some of the things that happened. He was playing scout team defensive end before the end. That was pathetic. I think as the interim coach, maybe Steve Wilkes could have had some say in that. But he did win me over with that quote at the end. The McCaffrey quote is a pretty good one.
Yeah. So
Under the bus.
for now, the feud is done. I suppose Wilkes got the last word in. It was a pretty good one, got to admit.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
It's homecoming, man. 114th homecoming. It started here. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And, of course, the festivities, the house decks tonight. Be sure to check that out. The parade begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and you get plenty of time because it's a night game to enjoy all of it, bask in it, if you will. So if you're coming in from wherever you're from, because you're a Mizzou alum, you're a true son or daughter, and you want to experience the homecoming festivities, welcome back, and hope you enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, what a weekend it's going to be. Hopefully weather cooperates. I think it's supposed to be a pretty nice weekend in terms of the weather. It is UMass, so it's almost fine for there not to be literally any angst in my soul over the outcome of this football game. Like, I don't feel anything other than just excitement for the festivities and being around campus and doing that and, seeing my son get a chance to, bask in some of the homecoming stuff. That's really, and so for as much as I did kind of nitpick, Andy, when it was announced that it would be UMass for homecoming and it would be in September, a little bit early, I said, what are we afraid of Alabama for? Now that it's here, I'm like, this is going to be the most stress-free weekend in terms of like the score of the game is not something on my mind. We just get to enjoy all the other stuff that makes being a Mizzou Tiger great. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely going to be a fun weekend, and hope you enjoy it as you come home. And Mizzou looking to bring home another victory, move to 5-0. What will the score be tomorrow? Who you got? Mizzou, UMass. Give us your thoughts. 875-KTGR with a call or a text. Our picks of the week coming your way as well at 5:45. Don't miss that on The Big Show.
Hello there. This is Quentin with JQ's On High in Jefferson City. We are looking for skilled and passionate hospitality team members who can bring both front of house charm and back of house know-how to our unique food service operation. We offer competitive pay plus tips, a fun work environment, and we welcome your creative input on our made from scratch menu. If you are dependable, love great food and great people, apply in person today at JQ's On High and be a part of something special here in Central Missouri.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, are sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching. Always ahead of the curve? Seem to know what's going to happen? Like a prophet? Prove it, Nostradamus, with Profit Shares. Predict the outcome of every black and gold game or whoever your favorite team is. It's all at Profit Shares, and it doesn't cost a thing to play. Make your predictions risk-free and win prizes like gift cards to Amazon, Chick-fil-A, and other favorites. Or donate your winnings to charities. Contests are open now. Play for free at ProfitShares.com. PROPHET shares.com.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. And boy, do we have some good news. There are currently still seats available, but don't wait, as you only have until October 3rd to book this once-in-a-lifetime trip. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com today.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Nick DeLuca, inching closer to the weekend, week 4 in the NFL. Niners quarterback Brock Purdy making his return. Purdy off the injury report and is expected to start against the Jaguars on Sunday. Missed San Francisco's last 2 games with shoulder and toe injuries. The Commanders will be shorthanded against the Falcons, ruling out quarterback Jaden Daniels for a second straight week with a knee sprain. And star wide receiver Terry McLaurin will be out with a quad injury. Head coach Dan Quinn looking to see some of the Commanders' depth step up.
If you're in the game, you're the starter at the moment. And so that's just how we play. It doesn't mean we're going to be playing exactly the same way, but these are the things we're counting on you to do. And so it is part of our game when the adversity comes. I think we're equipped for that. We expect it.
Marcus Mariota will start for Washington. Again, in Golf Ryder Cup continuing at Bethpage Black. Afternoon action still in favor of Europe, up 5-2. One matchup in progress. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry square with Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns through 17.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Bush. Back to the wall. And it's got her. And Arrowhead. Touchdown. Kansas City. To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
It's homecoming. Games tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Mizzou welcomes the Minutemen of UMass. I have been spending the entire week not respecting my opponent. And so we'll do it one more time as we tell you who we've got for the big matchup. I think the intrigue really comes from, will Missouri cover the massive point spread on the game? You can let us know with your score predictions. Give us a call or a text, 573-875-KTGR. You can also just throw your score prediction right there on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. We are live and in concert if you'd like to check us out over on YouTube. 525. We will revisit our SEC rooting guide for the weekend because I do believe that there's at least one massive game, maybe two, that are worth talking about in this context from the standpoint of a Mizzou fan. Who should you be rooting for? And then we'll double back to our picks of the week at 5:45 before we get out of here on the show today. 573-875-KTGR to call or text. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
It is a massive spread, 44.5. Last I checked for Mizzou and UMass. For context, Mizzou went to UMass last year and beat them 45-3. So you add in even kind of the home field to that and how Mizzou's offense has really looked good over the last 4 weeks in the season. First 4 weeks in the season, should say. Yeah, it probably could be a day where Mizzou covers that spread. But again, it's so hard to tell. Eli Drinkwitz essentially gets to pick what the final score is, and maybe he picks a number that doesn't have a margin of more than 44.5, wants to call off the Dogs at some point. We'll see. But the Tigers and UMass kick off at 6:30 tomorrow night. Mizzou figures, should everything go their way, to move to 5-0 overall before the big Alabama game in a couple of weeks.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Both the Chiefs and Ravens need this game. Desperation for both sides as they meet at Arrowhead Sunday at 3:25. Xavier Worthy back, not on the injury report anymore. Jalen Royals also figures to make his NFL debut. And the Ravens have some guys beat up on their defense. Nnamdi Madubuike is out, as is the defensive tackle Broderick Washington. Cal Van Noy, linebacker, is questionable. So is their offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. Yeah, I don't like the Ravens' health going into this one. That's kind of why I favor the Chiefs, but also I feel like this is the chance for the Chiefs offense to finally get going against the Ravens defense that has been very porous.
Number 3.
Outside of Mizzou, UMass, this is an excellent college football weekend. You get Alabama, Georgia, you get Ole Miss, LSU, you get Penn State and Oregon, the whiteout game over at Beaver Stadium. Tons of matchups to lock into for the primetime windows. And we'll go through our SEC rooting guide at 5:25. Tell us who you will be rooting for in either SEC play or beyond as you're watching college football this weekend.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
The final, most likely, Miles Michaelis start in a Cardinals uniform did not go his way. Gave up 3 home runs, lasted 5 innings against the Cubs. The Cubs blasted the Cardinals today, 12-1 at the start of the final regular season series for both teams. Cardinals, I mean, they're just trying to inch their way to the finish. Royals, meanwhile, are at the A's. Only one win for the Royals needed this weekend to guarantee a 500 or better record. So we'll see if they can get that done this weekend.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
But you know what? It's not all bad, Cardinals fans, because guess what? The AA Springfield Cardinals won the Texas League. The future's almost here.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5. on KTGR.
875 KTGR to call or text us here.
Yeah, the future is a long way off the way that we talk about rebuilds and things of that nature. But it is cool that they're having success at the lower levels. There is a lot of talent there for the Cardinals org in Double-A, and I think you'll see a number of those guys come into spring training either as part of the 40-man roster, because they do have a lot of guys from that team that will need protection from the Rule 5 draft this winter. So I think that will happen in many cases. And then, you'll see those guys in spring. You'll see them elevate to AAA, and that way they're just knocking on the door. But you'll need some of those guys to be pretty good ball players, because the Cardinals are they're a little thin up top right now. But you're right, Miles Mikolas will never throw another pitch in a Cardinal uniform. And so if you're one who didn't enjoy watching many of his recent pitches, maybe that is something that will assuage your fears a bit. But no, I don't think there's, like, as you're trying to turn over a new leaf with the new front office and kind of win fans back with better messaging. And there's a realm in which you could say, a couple $1 million for Mikolas to get his face beat in for 30 starts again next year. I mean, maybe not the worst thing. I think for many people, it would be the worst thing.
Yes.
And so I would be shocked if they were to have a reunion on that front.
It's like we were talking around the office today. So how many is Miles Mikolas going to give up today? How many home runs? Not runs.
Not
how
runs,
many home
homers.
runs? And well, let's just say the guesses actually weren't all that far off.
Yeah, 2.5, 3.5 might have been the over/under, and you'd have been right in range.
We're right there. So yeah, that coming to an end. But hey, Springfield Cardinals get it done. And shout out to Chris texting this tweet to us from Andy Carroll, who covers all things Springfield Cardinals, with Patrick Anderson, their manager, holding up the Texas League trophy. Patrick Anderson, the husband of Mizzou softball coach Larissa Anderson. So, I mean, congrats to the Springfield Cardinals. It's a good season. That's something that I know the community in Springfield definitely rallies around that team over the summer and continues to follow them even during these months. And certainly with how well they did this year, pretty well done. But look, it is going to be very interesting how Chaim Bloom wants to do all of this. So we'll see what his inkling is. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Who you got? Mizzou or UMass?
Yeah, this was, I think, the first week that I was very adamant about not respecting your opponent.
Yeah,
I'm like,
did not. Sure as heck did not.
It's because I went overboard last year, and it wasn't me doing a bit. Like, for a little while last year, as I thought ahead to a road game that you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, you were just upset that that's where they were.
I was mad that they were playing at UMass.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, man, we always see teams go to places that they got no business going, and it rallies the home fans. And then they went and played that game. It was like, I saw the stadium and how many fans were there. I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be fine. And it was fine. And tomorrow will be fine. Get out of it healthy. Give Robbie Myers some field goal tries. Pad the Heisman stats for Ahmad Hardy. Those are my 3 goals for tomorrow.
Okay.
That's all I need from Mizzou tomorrow.
Yeah, the main thing is health. I believe Gabe Bjarman pointed out on his stuff this week that last year Khalil Jacobs got hurt in this game and had to miss the rest of the season.
You lost Sam Horn against an FCS opponent. It can
it
happen.
Does not happen. It does not matter
football.
the opponent. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that's not one of those things that you can really do a lot about. You got to go out there and play football. But the one thing you can do is if you get through the first half healthy, your starters aren't getting hurt because they're not playing in the second half. That's what the score needs to be to dictate that. And then, yes, you've got Alabama coming up in 2 weeks. You got to have as many guys as are healthy tonight going into this game against UMass. That needs to be the same number that are healthy Sunday morning of this weekend after UMass.
What over-unders did we not get to yesterday for this?
I wonder if there are any on sports books now, or if they're looking at this matchup and they're going, yeah, we're not going to get. We're not going to give you.
It's technically an FBS game, though, so it's not one of those situations where.
I like you said technically. No, it just is an FBS game, but you're like, well, technically.
Technically, it's an FBS game because Mass, they're in the MAC now, aren't they? Yeah.
Conferences are a thing. Yeah.
I
think they are in the MAC.
But
either way.
It's not a game that gives you a whole lot of scary thoughts. The scary thought is, again, like if you have a starter out there that does not need to be, then just do the right thing. Let the third stringers get into this as quickly as possible. And look, I actually do think Matt Zowers will get opportunities
All right.
to run.
I hope he plays
a
a little.
balanced offense.
Yeah.
In the event that he needs to and is thrust into that sort of situation. I would like to see that.
So this is actually kind of interesting. I don't see anything from like a jurisdiction of legality standpoint. Our friends at Underdog Fantasy do have some stats on some Mizzou players.
All right.
If you'd like,
what do we have?
Because we kind of made it up yesterday.
Yeah.
And it seems like there might be an opportunity here. Like Bo Prabula's stat is 248.5 passing yards. Feels a little high. I might be lower on that one.
Yeah, because he only got 170-ish, I believe, against Louisiana.
They're not going to throw the ball a ton in this game.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a fun one. I'm very much higher on this one. Robert Meyer, field goals made, 0.5.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
so.
higher. I think
Yeah.
I think they're going to honestly send him out there to do more than just kind of chip shots. I think they want to try to get him a look
in the second half, no doubt, right?
Yeah,
like that'll be a thing. If the third string offense or whatever the reserves that are in are unable to punch it into the end zone, then yeah, you'll see that.
Our friends at Underdog Fantasy did not want to put together a stat projection on Ahmad Hardy's rushing yards.
Oh, wow.
But it is about 1.5 on the higher lower for his rushing touchdowns. Which is like, very easily could have 2 of those in the first half.
Get 3 touchdowns against Louisiana. Yeah, that's one that
he probably does score twice.
Yeah.
I think. Again, this is a game where Heisman-wise, you could decide to give him a little bit of an extra opportunity. Nothing available for Jamal Roberts. Sadly, no Marquise Davis stats on Underdog Fantasy.
Man.
And then you could just decide if you'd like to go higher on any of the receivers, the pass catchers to score touchdowns. Kevin Coleman, Marquise Johnson, and Brett Norfleet are options for touchdowns on Underdog if you'd like to go higher for those gentlemen.
Well, that's hard to predict.
Any of those guys going to score, you think?
It could be Norfleet. Norfleet's been red zone threat.
It's so hard to project the touchdown part of it. Like you could do a splash play. Of the 3, I'd say Marquise Johnson.
Oh,
I would like the most just because I feel like he's the guy that can do it from distance. And if they do, you want to keep the deep shot handy. Like you want to make sure to sharpen that up and maybe you throw 1 or 2 in the game. Otherwise, I think it's methodical. I think it's run the football and kind of go from there.
That could be interesting. Any other thoughts on it? Call or text us at 875-KTGR. You can text in your score predictions to us. Tell us if you're going to the game as well, coming in for the homecoming weekend. And again, James texted in. He took Mizzou minus 27.5 in the first half. That's what you want to maybe focus in on more than just the total point spread. I combined 2 bets there, but the point spread for the full game is something that is so hard to predict, and you can't really get a good feel for it because weird things can happen towards the end of a game. So that's why you go first half. That's when everybody's going to be in. Mizzou's going to assert their dominance. I actually do like minus 27.5 in the first half for Mizzou.
I like it better than I like the 44.5 for the game because I actually do think that this ends up being more of a game where you do end up seeing like, okay, second half, let's really make sure to stay healthy. And that includes the defense as well. And so like you're going to get some meaningful game reps for some of those backups and the guys lower on the depth chart defensively. And I'm not saying that those guys won't still have a advantage over UMass. They will, but things can happen. And, there won't be a lot of quick strike drives in the second half offensively either. So my score prediction, I think, will reflect Mizzou covering. I'm not as confident as I was in Mizzou covering against Louisiana. That number, I forget what it was offhand. It was comically low was it maybe only like that 28.5 range? I don't even know if it was above 30. And that felt like a mistake.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They ended up winning
around the late 20s, high upper 20s, lower 30s.
Was it 52-10? What was the final of that game? So this could be another sort of game like that. But my hope is that Mizzou doesn't give up a touchdown. That's my desire. And you know, the only reason that you would is a splash play, like they had a big long run against Louisiana that they gave up. And there was a turnover that put Louisiana almost in the red zone where I think they kicked a field goal. And that's how you ended up with the 2 scoring drives for Louisiana. UMass, I think, is worse. So I'm combining understanding that I think they are worse than Louisiana with the fact that I do think it's hard to do the whole dominate for 4 quarters thing again and nail it. They pretty much nailed it against Louisiana, but that was an emotional win against South Carolina. You're kind of looking ahead to the bye week. I think if anybody can get the guys riled up and ready, it's Drink. But I wonder what the messaging is that really allows that to sink in the way that it did for the last cupcake that they absolutely did handle the business.
And look, they can do it again with the same messaging I think that Drinkwitz had for the Louisiana game. Just dominate for 4 quarters, don't let up. And look, you can use the bye week as incentive, saying, look, give a good amount in the tank so that we can keep up our level of dominance in this game, but we'll have the bye week to then recover after that. So I actually think that he'll keep his foot on the gas for a good amount of this one. Again, to try your best to not get anybody hurt, but I do think the starters play at least the whole first half.
Yeah.
Depending upon what the score is, they're up 5 touchdowns. Maybe they let Zowers start the second half or whatever it is, but like anything lower than that, I think they still want to get one more possession in, getting in the end zone and finding a way to then ice it.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And, you know, I just can't imagine a world where we're watching this game and I don't know who's doing the TV broadcast, but, you know, that they'll be trying to like use their telestrator and tell us about the gaps. And like, this is not going to be a competitive football game in any way, shape, or form.
So here's actually something that I would want to see a little bit of, is that, look, it's great that guys like Jamal Roberts and Ahmad Hardy have gotten the yards after contact, and that's excellent. I do want to see the Red Sea part maybe once or twice for this offensive line so that they don't have to get so many yards after contact.
Yeah, I would like
in this game. Don't take as many hits. Don't have to rely upon all
somebody
that
house one.
ability.
Somebody house one untouched.
Have a So I want to see like a perfectly blocked, like no gaps or anything else, no tacklers hitting the running back within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, anything like that. I want to see just a beautifully worked, blocked running play that goes for a long touchdown at least once or twice. I want to see the offensive line at least have one of those in their bag before they get to the meat of the SEC schedule, because they haven't really had that many of those.
Yeah.
It's been the long runs have been because Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts have been able to break tackles mostly.
Yeah.
I guess the one could be the Kansas game where they iced it, Jamal Roberts. That was a very good edge blocking type of play. But it's mostly been the breaking tackle ability of those two guys that Mizzou has got most of their rushing yards. So I'd like to see more of what we saw in the Cody Schrader year, because that was a lot due to the fact that the offensive line just didn't let Schrader get touched until he got his first 5 yards. And then he could here and there break some tackles and turn it into another explosive play. But that was just a great offensive line that was nominated as one of the best in the country that year. I'd like to see this unit do that at least once or twice in this game.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Do you think it's more important to pad the Heisman stats for Hardy or Bo? Because, I mean, having 2 Heisman candidates,
Hardy.
You know what
Hardy.
they say
about now, I think Hardy is the one that is most
the
likely.
horse that you would back.
I actually
is that what you're
think
saying?
so. Yeah, for sure.
And Bo, I think, is fantastic for what this team is, but I think he's not, for the role he fills, when you lean so much on the running game, he's not going to be asked, and your defense is a pretty good defense, he's not going to be asked to do the things that he would need to be asked to do to win the Heisman. Ahmad Hardy might be asked to do the things that he needs to do to win the Heisman. And so he's more where I would, and I think too, you're just keeping Bo upright this week. I would want to see Hardy really stack some numbers in this game just to get the counting stats to be, because he'll be the most productive running back in the country this year, in my opinion. But do it. It's okay to stat pad a little bit in a game like this when you play an SEC schedule, and there will be games that the running lanes aren't there to quite the same degree. And to get people's attention nationally, he might have to have a game where he runs for 200 yards in the first half or, something crazy. And so that is kind of where I'm at. Although I'm not counting Bo out of the Heisman race. His odds are actually considered more likely for him to win it currently than Hardy. But I think that as people catch on to what Hardy's doing, and he does it every week, he's going to continue to get some pub. So, stat pad away in the first half and then give your horse a rest.
Landon says Mizzou 57, UMass 0. Happy homecoming, gentlemen.
It's a shutout. I wanted the Louisiana game to be a shutout, and I didn't get my wish.
No. I don't think it's a shutout.
No, me either.
UMass will get a field goal.
That's what I have.
A field goal.
Do we have the same prediction?
Mine is 56-3.
Oh, mine's 52.
Okay.
52-3.
So I'm actually more aggressive than you are on that. Well, that actually, I don't know if that includes a field goal. No, it does not. I said 56. Should I amend it to give a field goal prediction in there? 61-3.
He does tend to miss the first extra point of the game, so you
could
come up with 56 in a lot of ways.
No, that's not.
No, let me see if I can be. Hold on.
Come on.
Let me see if I can be positive. There's a fun 2-point play that they told the guys if they really tried hard in practice this week, they would get to do. So if you score 7 touchdowns to get to 49, but then 50 because they go for 2 once, 2 field goals, might be a safety in this game. That could really throw a wrench into things.
Okay. Yeah.
There's lots of ways to get to 56.
I suppose. Gotta have the offense to do it. But I'll stick with it then. 56-3. You're saying 52-3. Give us your score predictions here on the big show for Mizzou and UMass. Don't forget Tiger Tailgate also tomorrow, 4:00. That's when it starts, right in front of Mizzou Arena. Be sure to get your Tiger Tailgate passes, though. They're free at any of our pickup locations. You can go to the Break Time Convenience Store right off of the Stadium in 63. You can also go to Buckeye in Columbia, Jeff City, and Fulton. Big O Tires has them as well. Minutemen Defense, brand new gun store in Columbia off of Rangeline. If you go and buy something there as well, they'll enter you for a drawing for tickets to the game. So while that's lasting, go and take advantage of that. And be sure to party with us starting at 4:00 in front of Mizzou Arena for our Tiger Tailgates. You get free dive bar. They've got great food, man. Dive Bar has been doing an excellent job with our tailgates here recently. You also get free drinks, Bud Light, Zing Zang, High Noon, Lucky One Lemonade, Bidbo Water Solutions. So go and check that out too. All the details on the KTGR app where you can get your passes, and they're free. Why not just take free stuff? Like that's what you should do, right? Call or text us at 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Give us your score predictions for Mizzou and UMass. The SEC Rooting Guide comes your way next. Who are you rooting for in Alabama, Georgia, or LSU, Ole Miss, or the other marquee matchups in college football as Mizzou most likely is drubbing UMass tomorrow? And then our picks of the week at 5:45. All coming up on The Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. You can select entries and win money right now in Missouri. Andy, I know you'll be doing that this weekend.
Yes, well, I'll center in on Chiefs-Ravens. I already said earlier in the show I like the likelihood of Mahomes to get into the end zone himself, so I'll go higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown, which is a scorcher multiplier on Underdog. And on the Ravens side, they might take away Zay Flowers. So you could either say lower for his 61.5 receiving yards, but I actually think it might mean that Rashad Bateman benefits instead. I think I'll go higher on his 32.5 receiving yards.
It really is that easy on Underdog. Pick some player stats from the same game or go across games, across leagues, college football, NFL, Hockey right around the corner. You can really do it all on Underdog. And if you get your entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So download the app today. Sign up with promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants. For some, the thought of wearing a hearing device makes them feel old. In reality, improved hearing helps prevent accelerated aging. Untreated hearing loss not only can decrease your lifespan, but it can also lead to a faster decline in cognitive abilities and increase the likelihood of dementia. Come see us at Hearing Aid Consultants for your free hearing evaluation today. Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab in Jefferson City. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
Drove your new Defender on 63. Got in a fender bender with an FUV. No need to shout. Don't go crazy. Just get your phone out. Call FPP. They do all the work with your insurance company. One, call the number. Two, take it in. Three, get your car back like new again. Take from me, they make it hassle-free. You can't go wrong with the easiest three. Just a 1, 2, 3 with FPP.
FPPBodyShop.com. This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
When the Tigers score, you score at your Columbia Hy-Vee. For every point Mizzou scores on Saturday, when you shop at Hy-Vee on Tuesdays, you can earn that many cents towards your Perks Fuel Saver when you make a purchase of that value or more. They score 40, you earn 40 cents for every $40 you spend. Get free gas just for shopping at Hy-Vee. If you don't have perks yet, just ask to sign up at customer service. When the Tigers score, you score on Touchdown Tuesdays. Only at Hy-Vee.
Columbia just got armed. Minutemen Defense is your new destination for guns, ammo, and tactical gear that means business. From holsters and body armor to night vision and magazines, if you need it, they've got it. Plus, the cheapest ammo in town, guaranteed. Located right off I-70 and Rangeline for fast, easy access. Locally owned, veteran approved, built for serious shooters. Minutemen Defense. Get there. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Tell us who you got. Really what your score prediction is for Mizzou UMass. I think we know who you got.
A lot to a little.
That's
what I'm calling it.
A lot of the predictions have been. Adam says 54-3 Tigers. Points out that Iowa scored 47 on UMass. Yeah, they did. UMass 0-3. That includes an FCS loss. Not great. It's not to pile onto them, but
let's do though.
Going to be.
Let's test it. Okay. I've never been mean to an opponent before the game.
Man, it is what it is. Just get through this game and be healthy. Head into the bye, then you get Bama.
Is this an example of how we should be pretty excited about the 9-game schedule next year?
Yes.
Like you're going to have
this game in particular gets taken off.
This gone. And you don't, and it's like you don't have a cupcake for homecoming, but I like, as much as last hour I said, I'm cool with this weekend being a nothing game because it's like very stress-free. And I know the stress that looms in 2 weeks about Alabama. But I also think that like leaning in the future to having like, because they're going to have to probably be conference games for homecoming.
Oh, well, I mean, they usually are.
Oftentimes they are, but you know, we've had a Middle Tennessee before that we kind of
well,
lost.
That also
we've had we've had
there have been other ones.
There've been other ones, and so I don't know. Just I think you rev people up for homecoming and then say use that as a competitive advantage down the road, I think is something that you'll be able to lean into a little bit more because you won't have 3-0 games on the schedule at home.
So that at least is nice to look forward to just for the pure college football fan in you. I mean, yes, it's nice to get easy wins when you're Mizzou, but look, this is what you signed up for, being in the SEC. It's what the money's for, as we've heard several folks talk about for all this week when hearing about what the schedule is going to be for the next 4 years. It's what the money's for. Just, buck up and do it.
How much does UMass get to come and experience tomorrow?
I don't know.
To come and endure homecoming.
Yeah. I would guess.
We played there, though, so hopefully not much.
Well,
that
yeah.
should have been the gift.
That lowers the price a little bit for sure. Usually these work out to anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million, I want to say.
But that's for when you're just buying it to come kick their butt.
It's true.
We had to go to their place. That is unfathomable. Was that a Stirk one? I always blame him.
I don't know.
Who scheduled
I really
that
don't
anyway?
know. We can go back and look, but I won't pass blame on any particular
I
one.
will.
Because there were instances where we thought this was Jim Stirk, not this one in particular,
Right.
but I think it was the Miami, Ohio deal where they were supposed to play them.
They
this
nuked
year,
that one,
last
didn't
year.
they?
Yeah, they did. They got rid of it.
Desiree. Desiree.
I can't remember if that was Desiree.
I think she canceled it.
Or Laird.
If that was more recently, I will give Laird the credit.
But we looked back and it was Mac Rhodes. It's seemingly
Yeah.
that put that one together. So there's back and forth.
I'm
as to
reading
which
this.
ones they were.
This was scheduled in 2018.
Okay, so that's Stirk.
Was that Stirk
Yeah.
for the full? Okay, so
Well, there you go.
he had the Northeast ties. Was that the deal? He had been.
Well, he had coast to coast ties.
He
Really.
did,
Yeah,
but
he
he
had
was
San Diego.
Spent time at Maine,
right?
And so maybe that was he knew about the foliage from his time at Maine.
Yep.
I don't really know, but yeah. Anyway, the San Diego State one, if they keep that on, I'll be fine with that because it is a fun place to go.
Yeah, the problem is it's just not worth it anymore now because that's a year, I believe, where you have 5 SEC road games. I think that's 2027. So I think that's when you're going to have to take off.
No, hold on. We can find a way.
Okay.
Let me find a way to get to San Diego. Yeah, because right now we don't know where you were supposed to be hosting Illinois. 6-6, you can live with that.
No.
You can't. You got to have 7. You think?
I think you got to have 7. And the SEC made sure that everyone could have 7. I think at least for the first 2
Unless
years.
they went and were a bonehead and scheduled a road game,
or they have a neutral like Red River or Cocktail Party, stuff like that. I think they did the best to make sure everybody could have 7 and 5.
Minimum 6. They would never let you have
6
fewer.
and 5, right?
And then you're kind of on your own. But the problem is you have to play the power opponent.
Yep.
That's a non-con. And so next in 2027 or for 2026, you have to go to Kansas. We wouldn't skip on that game anyway. But to your point, they gave us the 5, knowing that, okay, they're at a power opponent in 2026. Let's give them the 5 home games to kind of give them that push. In 2027, Illinois is scheduled. It's a TBD on where.
I think that's got to be here.
It's got to be here.
Because
but
the next one is there.
But is Illinois going to gripe and say, well, you took off the 2026 one that was supposed to be in Champaign? But Illinois is who announced that removal. That came from there.
It was beneficial for Illinois, too, because I think they had
benefited
2
both.
road games in Power 4.
Right. But to your point about San Diego State, that is a road game that doesn't count toward your check in the box of a power.
Yeah.
So there's really not a lot of reason to keep it. And you can nuke it off the home date off your 2028 schedule as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to figure out, because one game's got to go and you're not going to take off a home game if you play at a G5. So yeah, if you made your plans for September of 27 in beautiful San Diego, you might need to, I hope you got refundable, because I'm reading the writing on the wall for that one.
Unfortunately.
Can
That
San
would have
Diego
been
State
nice,
join a
but-
Power 4 between now and then? Could they?
Big 12, maybe.
Are they betrothed to the new Pac-12, or is that
They
not for
actually
football?
might be, yeah.
But
well,
that's not a power They're not going to call that a
No,
power.
they're not going to be a power conference.
Yeah.
That actually might be true. I think they are going to go to the Pac-12 and that should be for football.
Right.
I think the only school that's not there for football is Gonzaga. But yeah, once they get to 2026, there'll be a G6 conference next
like
year.
a G6. 2028, SEMO and Northern Illinois. Don't invite Northern Illinois to your stadium, though. I don't know if that's a good idea.
No.
Come on.
No, they should
now.
get rid of every Northern Illinois game that's coming up, I think.
Why? Because you're scared of them?
No, just because it doesn't work. Because you got to go there, too.
In
Like
29, we're supposed to go there.
That's
so
another
I think
one that you got to just...
You might just not have the dates with San Diego State, which was obvious. That had to have been Stirk. That was a place that he worked. And the Northern Illinois is a home and home. You can nuke that off the 28-29 schedule. And I think you're pretty much good until 2030. You got to figure out what to do about that. And maybe the same happens with North Texas. It's a home and home in 30-31. You can nuke that. They were going to play a home date in 2032 against Northern Illinois. So that was a 2-for-1, I guess.
Something like that.
But who cares? You can find other home dates that far in the future.
So who are you rooting for, Alabama or Georgia?
I think the right answer is Alabama. I mean, when you break it down, Mizzou plays Alabama. You want Alabama to be a top 10 team if they can be when that game happens in a couple of weeks. And frankly, I mean, they're going to take a huge jump if they beat Georgia. Georgia looks like one of the top. What's Georgia's ranked right now? Are they 3? What's a 5? That's lower than I thought. But yeah, you beat Georgia at Georgia, right? Georgia's hosting.
Yep.
You go from wherever. Bama actually dropped 3 spots last week in the AP despite being idle because of some of the teams that I think they went from 14 to 17. Is that where they are now? So they'll be top 10 if they get this win. And then Alabama does what the week before the Mizzou?
They take on Vandy at home.
And that's a resume boosting win if they should get it. They're probably going to lose that game, but it would boost the resume. I'm serious. I will be picking Vandy on picks of the week. I will be putting U.S. American dollars on Vandy in spread and money line because I think people are still sleeping on Vandy. But yeah, Alabama's for sure top 10 if they win the next 2 games. And that's what you want if you're a Mizzou fan. You want that game to look better if Mizzou wins it and not as embarrassing if they lose it.
All right. Who do you want to see win LSU or Ole Miss?
So LSU's got kind of a tougher schedule than Ole Miss, if I recall. Like, I think Ole Miss is kind of a lock to make the playoff, if I remember my thoughts on. Well, maybe not. They got to go to Georgia, to Oklahoma, but those are probably their only other 2 losses. They'll beat South Carolina at home. They'll beat Florida at home. They'll probably win at Mississippi State.
I'm going to say LSU. I think you want LSU to win this. Because
LSU, my thought is LSU, I'm not convinced they're very good.
Well, I'm not saying that I would predict them to win, but yeah.
So tell me why you want LSU to win, because I was going to go
the schedule is tougher.
Yeah.
The more likely to get 3 losses for Ole Miss if you lose this game.
Right.
They could still be a playoff team if they win one of those other
at
games.
9-3. You're saying loss at Oklahoma, at Georgia. If they drop this to LSU, you're 9-3.
It's interesting that conversation between them and Mizzou as 9-3 teams all of a sudden becomes a little more interesting to me.
Yes, but I don't think any 9-3s are going to have a case this year. I think there's going to be enough
Really?
10-2s in the SEC.
All right.
Unless we get a really chaotic season, which we may. But you got to remember, even in a chaotic world, these teams aren't all playing each other. So unless the chaos involves an Arkansas upsetting a team like Ole Miss, with Ole Miss already survived that game.
Right.
Mississippi State knocking off a Tennessee this weekend. We can get into that for the rooting guy. But what I'll say is LSU, let's say they win at Ole Miss. They're going to beat South Carolina. They could lose at Vandy. They could lose to A&M. They could lose at Bama. They could lose at OU. Yes, but I also, I think Ole Miss, I don't know. Ole Miss, I think, is making the playoff. They could win one of those games, and they've got a shoe-in for the rest of their schedule. I'm a slight Ole Miss lean because I think Mizzou could have an argument over them at the same record. Over LSU, Mizzou would not have an argument if they had the same record. And I think LSU could lose 4 games if Ole Miss beats them.
Just because I just don't like LSU
That's
or
fair.
Brian Kelly, I could say I'm
That's
rooting
fair.
for Ole Miss. That's probably
Because if
gonna
LSU
be
gets
how I
this
go.
win, they're a shoe-in. Even at maybe 9-3. Does a 9-3 LSU topple, because then they can look back at the Clemson win and the Florida win when they thought those teams were good. I think I'm an Ole Miss lean this weekend, if for no other reason than, I don't know, good Lane is fun Lane. And if he can get the dub over his daughter's boyfriend, I think that's funny. So maybe that's my reasoning.
How about Auburn and Texas A&M?
I think you're rooting Auburn.
Think so?
Yeah, because I don't think Auburn's a playoff team, even with the win at A&M. And I do think A&M, with that Notre Dame win in their back pocket, is going to be a trump card over anything Mizzou is going to have from the non-con.
Okay. All right. How about Oregon, Penn State?
Good question. I'd have to look at their respective schedules. I feel like all three of those Big Ten teams are in. Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State all probably make the playoff unless they lose a third game. And I don't think any of them are really at a great risk of doing so.
After this, Oregon is kind of manageable. The tough games are at home. They host Indiana, and then they host USC. Penn State after this, as I scroll to the other side, Penn State's at Ohio State, hosting Indiana later on, I believe either October or November.
There's nothing tough other
Those
than
are
that.
the only other ranked teams.
But I guess to your point, if they lose to Oregon, lose to Ohio State, and lose to Indiana, like, which team do you think is more likely to lose a third between Oregon and Penn State? I think it's Penn State, because Drew Aller has not looked great. And I think Oregon is still very, very good.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Oregon has a real path to, like, do I believe that Oregon's going to lose a third time, even if they drop this one? Not really, because I think Oregon can out Indiana, which means pinning 60 on a bad defense. That game might, if Oregon's defense is bad, that game might be high scoring. But I'll root for Oregon because I think Penn State could get knocked out. Indiana could win at Penn State. I don't think Indiana can win at Oregon.
Call or text us with the teams you're rooting for in college football this weekend, 875-KTGR here on The Big Show. We'll give.
And real quick,
one
I
more.
do want to say, I think it's a real rooting guide to say Mississippi State over
I
Tennessee.
think you're right, yes.
Because Tennessee is a likely playoff team without tripping up somewhere.
A similar thing as Auburn A&M,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, you root for Mississippi State there. So will anybody take that in the picks of the week to double down on it? That'll be coming your way next after this.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon, I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Well, the Missouri Tigers will welcome home alumni, family, and friends for Mizzou's homecoming football game against UMass tomorrow. This year marks the first homecoming game being played in the month of September since at least 2000, according to Callum McAndrews of the Columbia Tribune. Kickoff for the 114th edition of Mizzou's homecoming football game is at 6:30 right here on KTGR. The Kansas City Chiefs will look to get to 500 on the year as they take on the Baltimore Ravens from Arrowhead Stadium this Sunday. Xavier Worthy is expected to play in the game, according to ESPN's Nate Taylor. Defensive end Michael Dana is listed as doubtful for Sunday's game, while cornerback Christian Fulton is listed as questionable. Both the Chiefs and Ravens are looking to avoid 1-3 starts to the year. Kickoff from Kansas City is at 3:25. And the Cardinals fell earlier today at Wrigley Field 12-1, highlighted by a seventh-run, seventh inning by Chicago. Game 2 of that series is tomorrow. McGreevy will get the start on the hill. First pitch is at 1:20. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team you hope you never have to meet. I-70 Towing.
I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and it looks like it is going to be a great weekend for Mizzou's homecoming. Starting off tomorrow morning in the mid-50s, you might want a light jacket for the start of that parade. Once we get into the later morning and afternoon hours, temperatures quickly warming up into the mid-80s. We'll be staying there. Looks like we'll be cooling back down into the low 80s and upper 70s by game time tomorrow. We're staying dry throughout all of this weekend. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Sawyer Jackson, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for ProfitShares.com. This weekend is a great time to hop in, if you haven't already, to the weekly contest, the Profit Picks contest, to be more specific, over at ProfitShares.com. Show off your football knowledge in college football and pro football. Pick the winners of those games. You can go through each one on the list, and the more picks you get right, the more credits that you can earn to redeem them for gift cards and charitable donations to your favorite causes. And it's a great way to stay engaged all football season long without having to pay anything too. It costs you absolutely nothing, but you can still win prizes on the back end if you're able to get your picks right. So if your fantasy team is already a drag and you're trying to get through the rest of the season by getting something right on your football predictions, well, now's a great time to start with ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com. Sign up today, invite your friends, compete against your friends, and see who knows the best about ball over at ProfitShares.com.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. And boy, do we have some good news. There are currently still seats available, but don't wait, as you only have until October 3rd to book this once-in-a-lifetime trip. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com today.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to football weekends, and that's what makes Yuenglings such a great pick. From traditional lager to light lager, flight, golden pilsner, and black and tan, they brew a beer for everyone's taste. Whether you're manning the grill, setting up the tailgate, or just watching with friends, Yuenglings got a flavor that fits the moment. Brewed with nearly 200 years of tradition by the oldest brewery in America, Yuengling. Legends stand the test of time. D.G. Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
It always starts small. You notice one single ant on the counter, then another, and perhaps a mouse in the garage. And you swear you can hear something trying to claw its way through the wall in your room at night. Then you realize the fall invasion is here. When pests get cold, much like humans, they come inside. And here in Missouri, that means ants, spiders, mice, you name it. They're not picky about where they settle in either. Your kitchen, your garage, even the attic. That's why you call Steve's Pest Control. Steve's has been fighting the fall invasion for Missouri families and businesses for decades. Steve's team knows exactly what's crawling into your home each fall, and they know exactly how to wipe them out. The invasion starts right in your own backyard, so call the team who's just as local as the pests they're here to eliminate.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control. From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest. Show me safe coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the Big Show on KTGR.
Here we go. Picks of the week time here on the Big Show with Andy and Brendan and producer Ben. He joins us here. You can see him now on YouTube. Let's flash up the records, by the way, Ben, if you want to put that up there. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that.
Look at me go.
Brendan went 3-2 last week. I went 2-3. Producers 1-4. Although Ben might say, "Oh, that was Billy." I'm back.
Are you holding a golf club in that picture, by the way?
Yes, I am. That's
what the heck?
Yeah, it's a golf club.
I didn't get a golf club.
I mean,
bummer.
Whatever it was. But
right.
Maybe that's why
I did win the golf contest this year. I'm just saying. That was a first.
Either way, that might be why I'm last at the moment. 10-15 overall. Brendan's 15-10. Producers are 12-13. But that means Brendan gets the pick.
Yeah, we'll go same order. Producers, Andy, Brendan.
All right.
Order has served us well.
All right. So, Ben, you're up first here.
Lots of college games, lots of pro games.
Yeah, we'll pick from this sheet that we have here.
The only thing Andy did wrong is not putting Houston minus 13.5 as a pick. Cody was asking on YouTube.
Is that the number against the Titans?
No, I'm sorry. Houston Cougars.
Oh,
Go Cougars.
Oh, okay.
It's a road game at Oregon State, but it's tonight. So that's we stuck to Saturday games for this week.
Well, either way. Producers, go ahead.
Alrighty. First game, I'll just take off the board. I'll head to the NFL. I'll take the Packers against the Cowboys.
Whew, that's fair.
I think that one might just be an absolute beating. The Cowboys defense looks like a wet paper bag because they don't have a special someone on their squad, and the Packers do. And I think this will be a prove-it game for the Packers, especially they'll be mad after last week's game, disappointment in Cleveland, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets out of hand early and often.
I don't think you'll be challenged on that one. Just
maybe?
fine. Oh, you think so?
No, I won't.
I will not let this slide this time. Give me the Chiefs plus 2.5. Last time, producers ghosted it away from me, although I'm glad they did because they didn't win. But this time it's winning.
You may be challenged on that. I just won't do it right away. I will go Ole Miss minus 1.5.
Okay.
I feel very good about that. I just don't think LSU's offense is good enough compared to what Ole Miss has been doing, especially with Chambliss at quarterback. And frankly, LSU's defense hasn't actually played any good quarterbacks yet. Lagway, no. Cade Klubnik, no. Ole Miss wins this one by about a touchdown.
All right, producers.
All right, I'll head back to the college realm, and I'll take Oregon on the road against Penn State until James Franklin can prove to me that he can win the big game. I will not pick him in the big game.
He won 2 playoff games last year.
Not against
SMU and Boise State.
Dude, they're playoff games. Come on.
No,
I get it.
Ben's right.
I understand. All right, so I now will take another road dog who I think is going to win this weekend. Give me Alabama plus 3 against Georgia.
You guys know those are like the 2 squarest plays of the week. And I wanted both of them, and you stole them from me.
Did you pick the order?
Did you pick the order? You went
did.
last.
I forgot I was working with a couple of squares.
Come on.
Squares who made the exact picks that I wanted to make.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
That's how it goes.
I will pick a pick that I don't know.
The Steelers will be there available for you if you want.
I'll bet this isn't square. Mississippi State plus 7.5. I think they'll beat Tennessee.
Wow.
I think that, and this is not on my confidence meter nearly as high. I've been all over some of these SEC picks. This one's not quite like pick of the week territory where I haven't missed one all year, but I do feel that that's a game that could get very dicey for the Vols.
All right, producers.
Yeah. Oh, last time you picked a Mississippi State game, you picked Arizona State, Brendan, and I faded that one, and it did not.
No, I had Mississippi State.
Wait, you had
in that
Mississippi
game.
State, and I picked Arizona State, and I
gonna do it again.
And it didn't serve too well for me, so I think I'll stay away from it.
Okay.
I'll take Notre Dame on the road against Arkansas.
Ooh.
I feel like that they can get it done. I feel like there's a kind of a weird stigma around them right now, and I think this might be a game where they'll look at it and be like, okay, it's fine. Everything's all right. But that's just the way I'm thinking about it. It is an odd number at 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the number.
I want to take
either
the
side.
Hogs, but I don't know if I have the guts.
Are they going to rebound well after that loss?
Their
to Memphis?
defense is not good. That's the problem. The defense is bad. The offense is great. It'll be like the Notre Dame A&M game, but I bet Notre Dame probably squeaks it out. But do they cover? I don't know. I'm putting that in the chamber as a possible fate of the producers here.
I'm going to go to the NFL here for my next pick, doing our picks of the week on the Big Show KTGR. I'm going to take the Bucks at home plus 3.5. I don't know if they win the game.
They burned me last week.
But that's going to be a back and forth type of game. It's going to be ugly. Both those teams have gotten to 3-0 in very ugly fashion. And I'm also not quite sure that the Eagles are like totally deserving of being 3-0. So I actually will take the Bucks at home. Plus 3.5 is also a very good number, I think, for this game.
It's a very good number to have a good quality quarterback at home.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a pretty good spot for you. I'm a little bit jealous of that pick, actually. I think they probably lose by exactly 3. Speaking of, I'm not so sure about you at 3-0. And they've looked very impressive, but they've beaten the Titans and the Dolphins. And I don't know what the Broncos' problem was, but the Colts shouldn't have beat the Broncos. I'm going to take the Rams. I don't love the number, but at home, minus 3.5. I think the Rams are a very good football team, and they're going to be not happy about the way they lost to the Eagles last week.
Producers.
All right, I'll go to the NFL realm, and I'll take the Broncos Monday night, 7.5 at home. It's a weird number. It's got to be a 2-score game at that point.
I think he's right.
But that the Bengals showed me that they cannot score if Joe Burrow is not their quarterback. They can't get their playmakers the ball.
Yeah.
And I think it's at Mile High. I think a lot of things going well for the Broncos. And I think on primetime Monday night, they'll get it done.
Most any other team, I would be taking the other side, but probably not for the Bengals. Okay, let's see. Where else can I go?
You go Auburn A&M?
I was thinking
take a stand on that
I
game?
was thinking one way or the other. Give me Auburn. I'll take Auburn there.
I wish it was +7. It feels like that's going to be a 7-point margin, just like the loss to Oklahoma. But you get 6.5 against A&M.
It's not bad.
Jackson Dart's going to fumble or something at the end to cost you the cover.
Dart?
Jackson Dart. Who do I mean? Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold.
I'm clearly thinking about the Giants quarterback
Yeah, you are.
situation. Okay, give me Arkansas +4.5.
All right.
That's a heart pick. I'm just rooting for the SEC supremacy on that one. But
of course he is.
They might get blasted.
Producer's last pick.
All right, I'll go back to the college realm, and this is a little weird one, and I wouldn't be surprised if anybody fades me on this one, but I'll take Illinois at home +6.5 after they get absolutely embarrassed on the road in Bloomington. I think they bounce back. I don't know if they necessarily win, but it's homecoming at Illinois. There's a lot of things going their way. There's a lot of hype around the game. Big Noon is going to be there.
Lincoln Riley deserves to have his butt whipped for this one. I hope Illinois wins that game. I hope you're right on that, producers. That could be good. Why not? Mizzou -44.5. Let's go.
Is that a record? Is that a Big Show record for spread?
Yeah, probably.
It's got to be up there.
Something like
I know
that.
Florida was around that week one when they played LIU.
But we didn't have that on the board, I don't think. Maybe we did. I don't know.
I think we did.
We might have. I don't know.
All right, finish this out, Brendan.
Oh, you guys, I'm so mad about the Oregon-Alabama stuff because Georgia, I should say. I was going to be a square with you, but you guys took them both. Golly. I don't think I can take a college game. I'm not taking Penn State. You can't make me. They took Georgia. You guys took Georgia?
No, I took Alabama.
Oh, you took Alabama. Give me Georgia.
Okay.
Give me Georgia -3.
It's not a bad pick.
I'm rooting for Bama in that game.
Yeah.
So I'm fading my own self there, but yeah, give me Georgia. They're the better team, pretty sure. -3.
I think. I don't know.
It's gonna be a push.
I really don't know, man.
We're both gonna add a push to our record this year with that game.
Someone's got to. It's about time. We'll get there eventually. Maybe it's this week. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks
Pick 4
also.
SEC teams. I'm such a freak.
You are. Thanks to Rob Veno of WagerTalk.com for joining us as well. High school football coming your way next. Coverage starts before Rockbridge and Helias in just a few minutes. And then, of course, the Yingling Tiger Game Day show begins tomorrow at 3:30 before Mizzou and UMass. Have a great homecoming weekend, everyone. For producer Bren and Brendan, I'm Andy. We're done for now. Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. I go to them for car maintenance and